Damn.
What's up, guys? So I know a lot of you guys might not care and some of you guys might care, but I figured I'd make this video since just to kind of some filler, and you know, I've been busy on the shop, and I know you guys are gonna see a lot of this place in the upcoming videos, so I figured I'd make this video, you know, kind of walking around and show you guys, tell you guys what's up with the shop and kind of give you the full tour. As of now, I mean, it's not 100% complete, but it is getting pretty close. And as you can see, it came a long way from the last time you guys seen it. We shot some videos of it with Billy's Turbo S, but you guys seen it from the beginning when we filmed like our intro to Tackett Creek, I believe it was. You know, we had the gooseneck backed in here, and it was gravel, just the pole barn was up, so kind of cool to see it take shape. So I figured I'd give you guys a walk around and kind of tell you what's going on with it. So I'll go ahead and address this right now because unfortunately I don't really have enough time to go through and reply to all the comments. I do try sometimes, but it is really time consuming, especially when I'm spending all my time working in here. So, and editing videos for you guys, working on the rigs, you know, all of the above. But anyways, I'll address this quick since I know there's gonna be people that say it. I don't care, you know, it doesn't bother me when you guys say this kind of stuff. It is what it is. I know I'm pretty well off, and I appreciate it, and I'm thankful for that. So I know there's gonna be comments saying, you know, what do you do for a living and how do you afford the things you do? And you know, I just dropped a lot of money building this shop, so I'll start off here and give you the backstory for it. So when at my last house, although previous videos you guys seen, if you're new here, you may not have seen it, but I had a 24 by 32 garage that me, my dad, my brother, and a couple buddies built, and that was my first house. Bought it like 3.5, 4 years ago, maybe. Anyways, regardless. So it had a 1-car attached garage, and you know, doing the hobbies that I have and that you guys have as well, you know, it just doesn't cut it most of the time. So fortunately enough, I had a lot of money saved up. Right out of high school, I was flipping cars, and I would buy trucks and Jeeps and fix them up, fix whatever was wrong with them, make them look good, sell them, trade up. You know, I was playing that whole game for a long time, and I would save all that money, and I never spent it on anything other than another vehicle to further the flipping game. I don't know, kind of hard to explain. And so then I saved all that money, and I used that money to build my first shop, which was the 24 by 32 with 9-foot ceilings. It was what most of the garage videos, you know, up until about a couple months ago were filmed in, other than a select couple in Josh's, but most of them were in that garage. So, you know, I lived in a neighborhood, really wasn't for me, but it was the first house, all I could afford at the time, all I wanted to spend at the time, we'll say, and be able to continue my hobbies as they are. So, posted that for sale. After I seen what some houses, you know, down the street were selling for and stuff, I'm like, wow, man, now is the time to sell. So I really got in at a good time, rode the market, and got a good amount of money for the whole house, even though obviously that is including, you know, the shop that I built that I didn't hire anyone for. So there was a lot of equity in that, but I walked away with a lot of money, you know, in my pocket, and my goal was to find a house that needed some work, so it was outdated, but not like a total rehab. A little bit bigger. I wanted a basement. My last house was on a crawl space. So yeah, my goal was to find all that stuff, and my biggest thing was to find a house with some land. So I didn't get as much as I wanted, but you know, not a millionaire, and land up, at least up here in Wisconsin, is really, really high. So I ended up with 2 acres, which is pretty good. I mean, I'm happy with it so far, and got a couple neighbors, but they're kind of spaced out pretty far. I've been, you know, hooning around, I guess you could call it, pretty rough, and haven't had any issues. And so that's good. So when I moved in here, it has a 2-car attached garage, and I knew, you know, when I bought the house, I knew that I wasn't, so we'll back up a little bit. When I decided to sell my last house, I told my wife, I'm like, we're not moving if we can't walk away from this house with enough money in hand to build the next shop bigger and better than the one that I have now. And she agreed, you know, so that was cool. And it all worked out in the end, as you guys can see. But so yeah, we moved out here. Taxes were really cheap, so that was another reason why I was able to get, you know, land and save money and build this. But I don't know, I don't do too many videos where I'm filming myself, so bear with me a little bit. I'm kind of scatterbrained. So yeah, guys, when I moved in here, this was probably in like October of 2019, so the end of last year. Moved in here right before winter. I knew I needed to build a shop, but it had a 2-car garage, so that's what, 2-car attached garage. So I threw some lights in that because it was like a cave, and we'll get into what I do for a living because that pertains to it after this, but threw some lights in there because it was like a cave, and that's where you've been seeing the majority of the videos filmed lately. You know, some are at Josh's house. All the Monster Z videos are from Josh's house, the Portals YZ stuff, but the rest of the videos are filmed in my attached garage. So meanwhile, you know, this was in the works. So as soon as I moved in, you know, I knew I was going to wait until spring to build a shop. And my first priority was to upgrade the house. So we went through and remodeled the house, painted the whole thing, all new appliances, redid one of the bathrooms, redid the half bath. I still have to do the full bath. Did some flooring, just did new carpet. Just demoed some stuff in the basement, kind of finished that up, but you guys might have seen a video of that. Got kind of like a bar and stuff down there. So I've been busy, real busy all winter doing house stuff. Replaced all the doors in the house. You know, just all kinds of little stuff. And luckily it didn't need anything major, but lots of little time consuming things. So pretty much wrapping that up. Like I said, I just have one bathroom left to do in there. And the shower and the floor is staying. So those were redone at some point. So all I gotta do is paint the bathroom, do a new vanity, a new toilet, sink. So not too bad, but meanwhile, I was planning on this, and I was hoping to have enough money to low-key hire someone to build this whole thing, but I simply just don't have that much money because it's a serious amount. But I mean, so I was able to hire somebody to come out and just build the shell. So as you guys seen in one of our first videos in this shop, it was literally just a shell, no garage doors, no interior finishing, no insulation, no concrete, no nothing. So I'll throw some clips of that in. I'll throw some progression clips as I talk about it over this. So yeah, as you can see, it's just a shell here. They came out, they drilled the posts, they set the trusses, they put up all the steel, and you know, they put in the one window and the doors, and that was about it. They pretty much wrapped it up there. And that was about all I could, in my mind, afford to have someone else do. So once that was done, I knew I had to move forward onto pouring the concrete. So Billy actually used to be a concrete guy. So he had some hookups at some guys that he used to work for. And then so it was me, Billy, and one other dude that he used to work for who now kind of does his own thing. So he had his own tools. You know, he does a lot of side job stuff when he was working with Billy. Now he does kind of his own thing. So he had all of his own stuff. Anyways, so we were able to get, you know, a lot of the stuff graded out, and it connected to the old driveway at the same time. So all that stuff, so that's probably what you're seeing right now on the screen. And we did the nice spot on the side over there for storing the trailers, which I'll show you guys right now. So yeah, as you guys can see, there's a door coming out the back of the shop. And then we've got this that we did at the same time as, you know, the last picture, where dug all this stuff out as much as we could. and I'm gonna fix it up and make it better, but laid down some gravel and stuff to park trailers. So as you can see, got a lot of stuff. I've just got a lot of stuff in general that I accumulate. And so after that, you know, we prepped everything for concrete, did the gravel like I just said, then we poured the concrete in one day, and it wasn't bad. You know, it went pretty well. I'm not a concrete guy by any means, but it wasn't too bad. So shout out to Billy, he helped out a lot with that, and his buddy Bill. But so saved some money there, had to pay that guy some money. I obviously had to pay, you know, for the material of the concrete and the gravel. But other than that, we did our own excavating and did our own finishing and all that stuff. So it wasn't bad. I know concrete is a big chunk of change. You know, like before I even started, I had a couple quotes to come pour me a slab, and it was like $6,000–7,000 just for the concrete. So saved a serious amount of money doing it ourselves. But once the concrete was poured, you know, didn't waste any time. Obviously, I'm home more than I would normally be due to all the stuff that's going on in the world right now. Not going to get into that, but so I framed out the ceiling and the walls with 2x4s in between the posts to give me something to screw this sheet metal up to. And so I started with the walls, did all the framing for the walls, and then I bought blown insulation from Menards. So it comes in these little bales, and it's cellulose insulation. Pretty cheap stuff, all things considered. I weighed all my options a lot. I'm sure if you guys know a lot about barns, or if you've looked into that, or you've been building stuff, or you know anything about it, you're gonna tell me I should have done spray foam. I get it, but I didn't have $7,000 to spray foam my whole shop when I did blown insulation for the entire thing for like 1,300 bucks. So, and up here in Wisconsin, I mean, that's a must. So once we blew the insulation down the walls before putting the ceiling up so you could get to the top of the wall and blow it down. You rent the machine, it's like 25 bucks for 4 hours at Menards. So it worked out pretty good. Never done it before, but in a 8-inch thick wall, which is what it ended up being because the posts were about 8 inches by the time it was framed out and everything, it should be about R35-ish in the walls. So that should be really good. So then after that, framed the ceiling, laid all the tin. You know, it was a huge help. Billy helped with all this stuff. Once we had all that laid, we were able to blow insulation in the ceiling, and I got about 20 inches to 2 foot of that up there. You know, that should be somewhere in the R50, R60 range, so it should be really nice for the winter, next winter. So I'll jump back a little bit here. I skipped the part where I ran my electric service through my basement, from the existing panel through my basement, under my deck, and then out to the shop. And then I stubbed it through the floor before we poured the concrete, obviously, and then ran it up into an exposed panel here. That's actually what I do for a living. So I know a lot of guys have asked, a lot of you guys have asked in the past, and I try to answer that stuff the best I can in the comments. If I see it, I do. But yeah, I'm an electrician, commercial electrician, don't really do residential stuff, but obviously I do know how. So it's pretty simple stuff for residential. And so that's what I do for a living. You know, Josh is an electrician as well. Billy's a operator now, but like I said earlier, he used to be a concrete guy. Well, I dug the trench for the electric, which obviously I was really trying to get electric out here sooner than later, because it's very important to have lights and stuff. And we wanted to have lights in here while we finished the floor. So you might have seen in one of these pictures, you might see it right now, but there might be some temporary lights hanging from the rafters. Anyways, so I got the service out here, and as I did that, I dug a trench for a gas line. I haven't continued it out to the house or even brought it into the shop, but while I had the mini excavator from my buddy, I did dig the trench and throw the pipe in the ground. So in the future, I will do like a hanging shop heater for in here. But for now, we're just using one of these torpedo heaters, which you can see right in there somewhere. And it actually isn't fully insulated yet. I still have to blow insulation in the front like 5–10 feet from the attic opening. But even without it being fully insulated, you know, the little torpedo heater heats this place up pretty good. So it's pretty cool. Granted, it's not that cold out anymore either, so it should be pretty good when it's all done. So anyways, moving along, I guess I kind of skipped this part, but it is a 30 by 40 by 12. So it's 30 feet wide, 40 feet deep, and 12 foot tall. And I did 12 foot ceilings so that way I could eventually get a car lift. Well, eventually is now, and the car lift is in shipping right now. So I will be getting the lift installed here shortly, which should be really cool for filming and just working on side-by-sides in general. And it's always kind of just been like a dream of mine to have a car lift. As you guys know or may not know, but I'm big in cars, trucks, you know, anything that runs and drives, I'm pretty much into it. So car lift would be a huge help. And like I said, how I used to flip vehicles, I kind of want to get back into that. So it'd be a huge help for that as well. It's got 12 foot wide garage doors and 10 foot tall. So they're plenty tall for whatever I need to drive in here. These things actually fit on my trailer and through the door opening, so that's pretty cool. So I could back my whole trailer in here and leave it all loaded if I wanted. So there is a man door here, which actually connects to my house, which I'll show you guys quick. Not like connects, but through a sidewalk. And connects over to the house there. You can see this is all a mess from digging it all up. But then there's a man door back there, and that goes back to that back corner where I've got trucks and trailers and stuff parked. So that way, you know, I can keep wheels and tires and things back there, as well as back here behind my little shed that I built when I moved in. And I don't have to walk around the building. I don't know, it's just kind of cool. But other than that, this window was installed by the pole barn company. It was the only window that was included. I could have added more, but as you can imagine, price went up quite a bit as I added windows. So I was gonna get doors with windows so that way I could see towards the road and see like who was pulling in and stuff. But the garage doors were extremely expensive with windows in them. So I ended up going this route, and I cut in this window before I put up the framing, obviously. Kind of jumping around a little bit, but it's a small little window, pretty cheap, but it's nice to be able to see, you know, if somebody's pulling in or whatever, I can open the garage door for them so they can get in, or just to see in general if someone's here or whatever. And lets in some good natural light. But I also cut in this window that I just showed you guys. And this was kind of a last minute thought right before I threw up 10. I figured that now was the time to cut in another window if I wanted. Kind of a pain in the ass, but it was worth it. So put that in right above the workbench. And yeah, I'm glad I did. So then my last project that I started on, this one's not complete yet, but remember back to when I said I built the last garage at my house, at my old house. We did concrete slab and then built a garage on top of it because I couldn't do a pole barn there. So kind of a little backstory quick. I know this is a long video, little rambling I guess you'd call it, but you know, I assume some of you guys probably don't have too much else going on, so I figured I'd throw this thing together. But these were actually the forms from my concrete slab that I used at my last house, and power washed the concrete off of them after I was done. And you know, they make good shelves and good workbenches. So I saved them all. I used one that was my workbench at my last garage, but obviously I had quite a bit from building a 24 by 32 slab. So I saved them all and put them to use here. So I built this bottom shelf as a workbench, got my mini fridge that I picked up, got my speaker there, kind of built it around the toolboxes. So it goes up and over, got nice storage up there. And I got this little shelf here that runs right above the window, and plan on just putting, you know, like your brake clean and I don't know, parts cleaner, that kind of stuff up on that shelf since you can reach it from the ground. Undecided if I want to do a shelf underneath it or not, but it is kind of nice to be able to put bigger things like that, or my cart fits underneath there, so I might just leave it open. I think we're wrapping things up here pretty good. Did kind of an attic access opening, almost like a ceiling tile, I guess you'd call it. So that's actually just tin with foam on the back of it, and you can open it like a ceiling tile, so I framed around that. Got these LiftMaster side mount garage door openers, and man, those things are sweet. They're super quiet. and you don't have to have this big track hanging down over here, and really simple to put up. You literally just slide it on the shaft, tighten the set screws on that collar, and plug it in. So I'm getting close, you know. I gotta paint the shelves. I'm gonna paint all that stuff white, I think. I'm gonna paint up here, you know, all this wood that's yellow. I'm gonna paint all that white. And then I do have to finish some electrical, so ran a lot of the stuff in the walls prior to putting up the insulation and the tin and everything, and just for simplicity's sake of not having to run conduit all over. Although I'm not, you know, as you can see, I'm not too concerned about running some conduit. You know, it's what I do every day, so can make it look pretty good. And it's not really in the way, so if there's anything I need to add, I will. I'll just run conduit. But I tried to run most of the stuff in the wall, and then they're all kind of stubbed out here. So I still gotta pipe them down into the panel like this one is. As you can see, that one was for the, I did finish that one circuit because it was for my garage door openers. But yeah, I mean, I've got some welding stuff stubbed through the walls here. Got a couple circuits for just regular convenience outlets. Then I got a box up here, which I don't know if you can see. Yeah, I think so. Got a box up there, which is gonna be for future feed for the car lift. And then ran all the lighting circuits up above the ceiling and just drilled them through the tin as we put the tin up. So it saved me from running all that conduit down below. Got these lights. Kind of got a hodgepodge of lights going on. Like I said, I'm an electrician, so there's some spots where I was able to grab some old stuff we had laying around at the shop that were extra off job sites or something like that. And the company I worked for was cool with it, so that obviously helps. But you know, had this middle one laying around, and I don't know, like 6 or 8 of these other bulbs we had. So that's why I did those. But then this really bright one in the middle is a Menards one, for anyone who's wondering if you have a Menards by you. And I just recently learned that Menards is not all over the country, in every state. I thought they were everywhere, but somebody commented asking what Menards is, so I was kind of confused on that. But I don't know, learn something new every day, I guess. But you can get these ones, which are 15,000 lumens, and they're these 2 middle ones, and they're on sale right now for like 35 bucks. And it's just a regular light bulb base that screws in, and they're super bright. So that's what we got going on for the lighting. I'm pretty happy with it. It's super bright. Hopefully it's not too bright for the camera, but I don't know. Can never have too much light, in my opinion. If you guys are not here from our normal viewing, you know, here's my Can-am XRS 32s, stickies, Evo exhaust, and then Billy's Turbo S. Got all kinds of goodies on both of them. Fun machines. That's what we normally film and do. So yeah, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video. You know, hopefully it kept you entertained. It wasn't just too much of me talking, which is what the whole thing was. So that was kind of a stupid comment. But what are you gonna do, you know? So figured maybe you guys would like it. Threw this together. Obviously this is where I've been spending a lot of my time. Haven't really hired anyone for any of the other stuff other than the concrete and then just the structure. Yeah, that wraps things up, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video, and you'll definitely be seeing a lot of us on a lot of videos filmed in this shop from here on out. So I will film another one of these, so if you guys have any questions about the shop or anything like that, drop your comments below, you know, and go ahead and ask me, and I'll try and get to them. And if I don't answer your question, I'll save it for the next video and I'll answer them in that video. So once the shop is in like its final form, which this isn't it, you know, I'm close, but I'm not nearing completion. So once the shop's in final form, I'll do like a walk around and like a tour and kind of show you guys where everything is kept and like storage ideas and how the whole thing is sort of laid out, what fits in here, that kind of stuff. So I know I enjoy this kind of stuff, but I have built 2 shops now, so obviously every time I see like YouTubers, that's all I ever watch. I don't even watch TV. All I watch is YouTubers. So every time I see like a YouTube shop tour, it really intrigues me, I guess you'd call it. But I don't know. Hopefully you guys enjoy the video and stay tuned for the next one. Got some riding content coming to you soon. So yeah, guys, hit that like button if you enjoyed it, and subscribe for more, and we'll see you on the next one.